All right, questioners. This is episode 16 of the questioning hour.
Oh,
you said a christening hour?
The christening hour. Peace to you, my son.
To you as well, Kristen.
To you, my son, in case.
The christening. It's where we change our name to Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm Kristen Disdirection. You know, actually,
Kristen, what direction?
Our co-star here, Andrew, has a really good Christopher Walken.
Wow! I don't mean to lie, but sometimes it's good. It feels okay. Oof.
Oh, wow.
Who are you guys? Where are we? I thought there was a tree behind me. It's almost as if we're 3 levels higher.
Wow. That sounds unbeatable.
It's a pretty good impersonation. It's pretty close. I mean, because with AI technology, we could clone your voice, and I mean, people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
Right. Somewhere in Hollywood, Christopher Walken just shuts down every time.
Like, that's it. I am, how you say, no longer an actor.
Was he Russian?
I can't see you, Matt.
I can't see you either. It's been great. We need to fix it.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah, Christopher Walken got his career. I mean, he was the first person who was like, "Yeah, I'm going to cast this guy." I mean, I really would like to know what the role was.
I like to think it was Tim Burton casting him in Batman.
That would be hilarious.
As that weird politician guy or whatever.
Max. What is his name? It's something Max.
Max Distraction. Oh no, that's you. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's me.
It's him.
Oh yeah, that brings up another point. Should we not actually say your real name?
I sure haven't. Oh wait.
I mean, at least not the whole name.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like, it's not like a secret, but I'm just like trying to cultivate like a personality. And
nice.
You know, my last name. It's kind of funny, but people can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's like the most common question I get is like, "What is your last name?"
It's like Smith, right? Now.
Yeah, it's like an Eastern European name, and you know, people just don't get it. So
yeah.
I said, you know, why don't we come up with some kind of alliteration, something a little fancier. And it had to do with my songwriting too, because I basically like I kind of started out and I got some interest from an A&R, and he was like, "The song is really good." I just made the demo, just to like show kind of like what I could do to like help an artist make a product. Because I was like going to school to be an audio engineer at the time, and then I was like, "Oh, okay," and that kind of got me on this wild goose chase of like trying to promote my music more, because basically like record labels now are like they just have no ability to give you a fan base. You just have to go and get it. So then like I found a lyrical niche I wanted to dive into, which was essentially just like giving bad advice. And just like saying contrarian things. So I created the Nomer to go along with it.
Sometimes when I go to sleep, Nick, or Max, sorry, I just imagine that you're related to Kid Rock for some reason. And I'm like, this makes a lot of sense.
It would be cool.
I imagine that when I'm fully awake thinking of him.
Right.
It's got nothing to do with sleep. You think about him in your bed?
Yeah.
I mean, where else would you think about me?
Shower, the bathroom.
Oh, right.
When I'm on Instagram.
I would like
the gym and I've got a heavy plate. Push it up my chest. I think of you. Oh, I wish this was Nick right now.
Or Eminem. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I feel like you could be related to Eminem or like Kid Rock or somewhere in between the two.
Eminem would be the wild choice. Kid Rock would make sense, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a little stressful being related to Eminem.
Really?
It's funny because you got to think he's probably got at least 10 or 20 living relatives.
Yeah.
And,
every time he goes like a family reunion, he has to walk in to guess who's back.
And they're like, "Oh my God,
this motherfucker!" We get it. You've had 20 #1 chart-topping hits.
Just air saturation, radio saturation.
The air is saturated.
You know what's funny about Eminem is there's kind of like there's a rub there between him and Snoop Dogg. I think Snoop Dogg doesn't totally like Eminem, vice versa. You guys familiar with this?
No.
They got some feud. Well, they're both from Michigan, right? Detroit.
I don't know, where is
I think Snoop Dogg's from Detroit. Pretty
8
sure.
Mile? Where's 8 Mile?
Just Detroit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you've never been up north.
Yeah. The highest I went was Kansas.
Yeah. That's funny. I assumed that about another one of my friends, and now it's true about you, so that's funny. Yeah.
I kind of wish that, I've never been to the city, but I kind of wish that Detroit was still one of the crown jewels of the United States. It is kind of sad how it's fallen off, isn't it?
Yeah, I went there once. The weather was bad, which didn't help, but it seemed pretty, I don't know, kind of tough.
Well, it's amazing to me that people will live anywhere that isn't sunny most of the year.
Yeah.
You know, when you could live in Texas.
Well, yeah. I moved from somewhere that wasn't very sunny to down here, and I can't fathom going back. So.
Yeah, you're like, why?
The
the hell
sun
was
wasn't
it
a part of
up
it. There was like 3 months or something that we didn't get. It was in Chicago. It was like 3 months where there was like no sunshine, and I was like, I'm fucking dying. Like, I gotta go.
Well, it's like a known fact that if you hang out in like a cold, windy place with not much sun, it's just
Affects your mood.
directly affects
Yeah,
you.
or
Direct correlation.
seasonal affective disorder.
Like San Francisco, the city will get sunny, but it won't get warm, and
Yeah.
the water will just never be warm.
Yep.
Whereas here in Texas, you can swim in soup all summer long,
Yep.
all year long almost.
Yep.
At least from probably like May to probably up until like November.
Mm.
You can just be swimming in soup.
Mm.
I'd like to point out that Matt's shirt is Val Kilmer.
R.I.P. Val
In
Kilmer.
honor
I'll kill him. He
Are
died
you?
already.
Of
He
Goose.
sure did. Yeah. Yeah. What was it? A couple weeks ago, I think he passed away.
It's like
or
last
two?
week.
Last week, yeah.
It's like
That recently. Well, Gene Hackman just died.
Yeah.
He
that was
died
a couple
before
months
Val
ago.
Kilmer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, they just, I think it was 91.7, because they're like independent programming here, and they'll play whatever they want. And sometimes if a director has a birthday or someone dies, they'll play music from those movies.
Mm.
So they're playing a bunch of music from different movies. Gene Hackman had been in.
Oh, I gotcha.
Which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it, but he was a pretty big deal. I mean, he was Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I think he stopped acting about 20 years ago. I want to say it might have even been Royal Tenenbaums, maybe, was the last thing he was in. But then, yeah, he just...
He was in a lot of like CIA, FBI movies.
Yeah. They kept casting him as
Probably
like
because
that
he
guy.
was, probably his father was probably in the CIA.
Yeah.
They're not very they're not very subtle when it comes to stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Typecasting.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, isn't it funny that like the casting person from movies called CSA? CSA, CIA, I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
I get it.
Matt's like, I'm not into movies. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
hate the films they're banned. We're gonna send ambassadors to Hollywood to fix this place.
It's funny
Which
because
is in
those like,
America.
ambassadors to Hollywood are just going to get Trump back in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason he just wants
That's
to be
legit.
in Hollywood.
He wants to be in Home Alone
He just
7
wants
or
to
whatever.
be
the
a
fuck.
celebrity. Yeah, he's like, where's Home Alone 7? I'll bankroll it.
I'll stay home alone in the White House, and you're gonna film it.
All right. Besides a new backdrop, I have a new development. I've been getting pretty crazy with McDonald's lately.
Okay.
It's been my main diet.
Well, he said McDonald's, so we're gonna go. You'll never see us again.
Might as well call it McDoogie's.
McDookies. Okay, tell us about how nuts you're in with McDonald's.
I don't know. You were commenting on your bathroom, and I forgot you were commenting on your bathroom and not mine. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Earlier. Roommate life.
Mm.
Yeah.
He went to McDonald's. He had the triple fuck burger. He came back home. He destroyed his roommate's bathroom.
Not my own.
While looking me in the eye.
Then he biked across town, not a care in the world.
And your little dog too.
Oh boy.
I used to tear up some McDonald's, man.
Yeah.
Work a night shift at Walmart.
Oh yeah.
And the only thing to eat wasn't McDonald's.
Hmm.
And we just go over there.
You
Hate
ate
it.
the McDonald's?
I ate all of it.
Locked it.
Yeah.
Bit the brick wall.
This back when they still had Ronald McFucking Donald's in the lobby.
They got rid of Ronald McDonald because of some tweets he made in the 70s.
This cancel culture is bullshit. He's a fucking clown.
Yeah. This fucking clown.
That's what I am.
Can we talk about Walmart for a second? I have to.
About Walmart?
Oh well, we ran into.
we
How
met
old
a-
was she?
23. We met a
20.
female the other night.
At the most.
Technically together, we're not together, just but like,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was-
you were together.
we
at that
were
time.
physically together.
Geographically
Yes,
together.
geographically together.
Yeah.
Which
He
we
was
think-
on my back.
Yeah,
I was holding him.
I was on his shoulders. We called ourselves Freak the Mighty. It's a good book. Check it out.
Good movie.
Yeah, good movie too. No, she was 23. I forget how it came up, but she just had to tell us that people need to stop shitting on Walmart. She goes, it's actually an amazing place to work.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she literally was like, I love working at Walmart. And I crossed that shit off my life bingo card.
And she,
You
so
heard
she was
someone say
also
it? Yeah.
raised in a family where she was taught to appreciate her job
Yeah.
and her company.
So she's a capitalist.
Yes.
So she is dying on the hill of Walmart is a great place to
Yeah.
work.
Well, that's a great thing about people. They're so infinitely malleable.
Yeah.
You could really
Mhm.
make them believe anything.
Yeah.
Her mother was Jewish, and so as soon as I heard that, I was like, I gotta get this girl with Matt.
As soon as
So
you
I
heard
was
that,
like-
you're like, I gotta get this girl off my back.
I was like,
I can't be a
I
part of this.
immediately
Take this chick.
made eye contact with Matt, and I was like,
Yeah.
this guy is really good with money too.
And is 25% you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
It's just my
quarter-
leg.
No, you just have like a Jewish leg.
Yeah, but I have a. No, that'd be fun.
That kept you out of the service, didn't it?
Yeah, just a little.
That tickled Max.
Oh, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm 25% Jewish according to 23andMe. So,
Okay.
Well, that's fun.
and
you
it's on
found
my
out
dad's side too. Yeah, and I found out
recently.
like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about 23andMe? I've never known a single person who ever did it who did not say they were at least part Jewish.
Yeah.
I've known straight up Asian people, black people. They do 23andMe.
Mm.
They come back with the results. They
Yeah.
show me. They're like, "Look at this. My family is from here or there."
Yeah.
I go down inevitably. It's going to be at least 1% Jewish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that really possible?
This
Yeah.
is why the Mormons bought 23andMe
Oh,
this
yeah.
whole time.
Well, they're on the
We're gonna
news.
get 'em.
We're gonna get them.
They've
We're
been
gonna
on the
tell
news a lot
everyone that they're
lately.
Jewish. Just sneak it in. Just
Imagine
sneak-
spending billions of dollars just like tell some random person they're Jewish.
Yeah. I love that, like, we know that people wanted our genetic profile so they could, like, so not only we could know, but they could know. And I just love the idea of someone being like, I'm going to find out how, Scandinavian this guy is. Like, okay.
Why?
Yeah, well, because it's going to be fun. We're going to go around and guess.
We're gonna do lay epic racial profile.
Yeah. The best racial profiling.
Well, it is kind of funny that we're not supposed to see race, right? We're like transcended beyond race. We're a post-racial society, but then one of the most like popular services you can get is to you break down.
Oh yeah, I know.
race
I thought about that. I was actually thinking about that when we were biking the other day. Like, they really wanted us to think of things racially with this,
Well, every time you fill out a job application, there's a huge section that's like a whole page.
Yeah.
It's asking you very specifically.
Tell me about your genetics.
It's like, do you think you're white?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say that you're Asian?
Yeah.
Are you Mexican?
Yeah.
If you're a Mexican, are you a white Mexican?
Yeah.
Or-
Or a non-white
It's
Mexican.
crazy. Like,
I need to know what kind.
Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
Just like, what is that?
Who is that?
I just love the idea of someone posing. Are you a Pacific Islander?
Yeah.
I just gotta know.
Imagine he's got like hella tribal tats. He's got like the cutoff shirt. He's got like the surfer fit.
Hey,
He's like, "Are you Pacific Islander?"
Pacific Islander.
Like, no, man. What are you talking about, Howie?
My name's John.
My name's John.
I'm white.
It's funny because nobody is happy with it because the white people are like salty and they're like, well, if you check that you're brown, you'll get a call back faster. And then the brown people are salty because they're like, why are they forcing me to say I'm brown?
Say your fucking
Say the words.
What's wild is my former employer, who I'm not gonna name, we were
Raytheon.
actually we were essentially
Northrop
told
Grumman.
we were told to like assign people an ethnicity for our like personal uses. So like
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Now that may possibly have been in violation of some law. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. So you know.
This is not what I'm assuming this is separate from what they said. It's like, I say I'm white, that's one thing.
Yeah, so that was the thing. So
but they're asking you, what do you think he is?
Yes, and it was literally like, well, we want to make sure that we're hiring a diverse slate. Therefore, we need to like write down how many like diverse candidates we have. So if they were diverse or whatever, or literally if they looked it or sounded like it, we were supposed to notate that. And that's how we ran like our internal numbers of like, how's our diversity hiring? We never got to see what they would check off, and we were literally told to assign them something.
Speaking of corporations being racist,
yes.
can I camp out here for a
sure.
second?
Let's camp out.
I was surprised to hear your pastor, I guess, my pastor, I don't know, sort of shit on the French on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Took his daughter to France and basically showed pictures of this castle that his daughter was getting married at.
Yeah.
And Matt sort of looks at me and is like, none of the girls here at Gateway are going to get married there.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You named the church.
I mean, because the average net worth of a person that goes to church is statistically higher than that of a person that doesn't.
Okay. That's funny because I've been blowing through cash since getting to this church, but you know, whatever.
Well, that doesn't mean everyone there is wealthier than average, but
plus my
just by statistics, you take two persons, one of them goes to church, one of them doesn't.
Yeah.
Statistically, the one that goes to church should have more money.
Okay.
But it makes sense because these churches basically just like asking you to spend money. And they're asking for 10%. They're not asking for like a negligible sum. They're not like,
give us 10%.
You know, because credit cards charge 3%, right? Interest rate now is like 7.99. They're asking for 10%. So if you make $1 million, they're straight up asking for $100,000 out of your pocket.
Why don't you give us $100,000?
It's a church led by Joe Pesci.
You think they'd be pissed if you just bought $100,000 candy bar and you dropped it on them?
Why don't you give me to go to church? You want to go to this church? How much you give me $100,000? This could replace your Donald Trump impersonation.
Yeah, they'll love that. They're me walking around going,
why don't you give me $100,000 and come to my church?
You should try to make it more like urban, more like New York. Make it Hunnet.
Why don't you give me $100,000?
yeah, Nick, I should do that. That'll get him.
Why don't you?
Oh man, it's a matter of time until they tell me no Joe Pesci impressions allowed. You're gonna have to go back to the Donald. He didn't call anyone retarded. Oh boy,
It's hilarious, man.
yeah.
That's why I like the church I'm going to, though, because they don't do anything as tawdry as passing the plate.
Yeah.
They don't ask for money.
Yeah. Well, that was usually a Catholic thing, or maybe it's just the Catholic church I was from where you pass the thing around. We don't do it at my Christian church.
Every Baptist church I grew up in, they would pass the plate, and it would be long. We're talking so they have an hour. We're talking like 15 minutes for music, 10 and a half minutes for the plate. You know what I mean? That leaves the pastor about 40 minutes.
We need more time for the plate.
It was a lot, and he'd talk straight through the plate. He'd be like, "Yeah, boy, we got plans for this money. Plate's coming your way, sir. You there?
Why don't you put $100,000 in the plate?" Yeah,
they circle back. If you tried to do this, you know, you'd be like, "Oh, where's my checkbook?" They'd be like, "We'll circle back."
We're building.
Circle back. You're like, damn it.
We're building a church in a place that you've never heard of. It's this place called the Pacific Islands.
Are you a Pacific Islander?
Trust me. We got a quota, $50,000. The Pacific Islands is real. I'm not making it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next conspiracy theory is the Pacific Islands aren't real. Change my mind. Someone just points on a map and we're just like, nope.
They keep talking about this place called the Pacific Islands, but if you zoom in on it, there's nothing here.
We fly to the Pacific Islands. We're just like,
Yeah.
nope. This is fake. We're on a Hollywood lot.
Lesbian, gay, Pacific Islander.
Now you can tell that this place is fake because the people here, they're just like troglodytes that want to hurt us. These are obviously Hollywood chills.
Oh man, you know who is a Pacific Islander though?
Jeffrey Epstein.
No, Dale.
I thought you were gonna say The Rock.
He's the only Pacific Islander in Dale.
When I go to bed at night, I just hear him laughing and chuckling about Dale.
He'll
be quiet.
Oh, no one finds it as funny as me, but I still love it. Okay, Dale, this one's for you, Dale. The rest, we're not. This
Pour one out
is
for Dale. Pour it out for Dale.
Oh,
Dale.
no, sorry.
Watch out. We pour things out of here.
That's what this podcast is about. Pouring things into the nature.
We're going to change it from the questioning hour to the liquid hour. We're just going to discuss an assortment of liquids and pour them on the porch.
Why don't you give us some liquids? Link in the description to send us money for liquids.
Right.
That's actually not a bad idea. Just sell liquids at a markup. Would you pay $10.99 for this?
Would you pay a Pacific Islander $10.99 for this?
Well, that's what they're on now is the AAPI businesses, you know, because it started with the gay-owned businesses, then it was the black-owned businesses, and now it's the AAPI and the AAPI films. And you see an Asian person at the gym, they're wearing a shirt that says, "Watch more AAPI films."
What does that stand for?
Asian and Pacific Islander. Remember, they just lumped in the
Half of that is
Pacific Islander. Half of it is bullshit.
Shitting me.
But imagine if I was at the gym and I'm just getting a pump on and I'm wearing a shirt that says "Watch more white films."
Hell yeah.
What is people gonna think about this? They're gonna be like, "This dude is a sack of shit."
Okay, if I was
Or cool as
allergic to Pacific Islanders, let's say, would I be sneezing around you? Gotta find a creative way to ask about it. Okay, if Asian Pacific Islanders only wore green, would you?
Would you be wearing?
Would you be wearing green right now? I didn't ask.
Have you ever heard a Hawaiian person like pop off on like Micronesians?
Wait, is that a Pacific Islander?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
something?
they count.
Oh, that's
Okay, so it is real.
Oh, Hawaii is real.
Yeah.
Hawaii is real.
When they say Pacific Islands, they mean like Hawaii, Samoa, Micronesia, and there's possibly, I don't know if the Philippines.
The island that just got lasered. 2
Laser
years ago.
Island?
Hawaii, yeah, laser land.
Maui.
Laser Island
Maui.
surgery?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
the-
Maui is part of Hawaii, I think.
Oh, okay.
But you're testing my geography here.
Yeah,
obviously.
the laser that burnt everything that wasn't blue.
Well, so
Yeah.
anyway, when they did the nuke testing,
Our eyes were fine.
because the U.S. rolled in to
Yeah.
Hawaii, they took over Hawaii. They set up that base in Hawaii, which was Pearl Harbor, and then eventually they were testing nukes there. And when they tested nukes, it was primarily on Bikini Atoll, which is either part of Micronesia or they were hitting Bikini Atoll and Micronesia. Right, so the Micronesians got hella radiation, and they basically got like turned into some Fallout creatures on some low-level shit.
Ooh.
So now they
What?
basically they get a check from the state of Hawaii. They're like subsidized by the state of Hawaii. So it's funny because Hawaiians they're basically like, you know how like you'll get people here and they're like shitting on like Hispanics or something. They're like they're just collecting benefits and the state is giving them all this stuff. This is a Hawaiian person went on like a 20-minute rant about this about Micronesians. And I was like, that's crazy. Even in an imaginary island, you have racism. It's impressive how you managed to do it. I thought you were all just islanders out there, but
Are you an Islander? Guys, I want to make everyday facts into conspiracy theories. So our next conspiracy theory is Hawaii is real. I know you're thinking it's not.
just
But
spread
we have
confusion
evidence.
online. Well, now is the perfect time to do it because you can get on TikTok and you can say anything,
Fucking anything.
and people will just eat it up. You
Yeah.
can be like, "Did you hear that the government punches you in the
matter what it
face
says
Yeah,
out loud.
3 times every time you go to bed? They sneak into your home and punch you in the mouth."
And then
they put 8 spiders in there.
Yeah. Click this link for a free insurance
Click
quote.
this link to keep the government from punching you in the face and putting 8 spiders in your mouth. Or hear me out.
Well, yeah, then you get a congressman to float a bill that says,
Or hear me out. Why don't you, a Pacific Islander, send us $100,000
The government put
so
spiders in your
you can go to church?
The government putting spiders in your
Hear me out. No, hear me out.
I can't do this anymore. I tried so hard to talk about why we're not in my backyard anymore and be serious. I can't do it, dude. I can't tell the truth.
It's because he didn't have $100,000.
all right, Andrew, why don't you tell us why we're
No,
not?
dude.
Tell us what happened in your
why we
backyard
can't
and
be
the
in your
tree and the
backyard.
Richard Nixon. What happened there?
R.I.P.
I had a shitty roommate.
Yeah.
I can't follow
Oh, you
after
did.
that.
Yeah.
The government's
Let's talk
putting
about
spiders in your mouth.
Hear me out.
Who's
Now
talking
hear
about
me out. Pacific Islander talking here, okay?
You don't want to silence Pacific Islander voices, do you?
No, but
Don't
his
silence me,
pastor
bro.
might.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to talk about that last night.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
It's also kind of a bummer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. People are up in arms of when I do a shitty Donald Trump impression by just being a guy at my church and sometimes doing that. So I've been called to essentially the principal's office to be told not to do that when I'm serving, and yeah.
So, can I spend a couple minutes on this?
Sure.
I mean, like, I have an issue
Yeah.
with the American church model
Yeah.
copies the corporate HR model.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
specifically right now, it is so important. If you look throughout history, the most important times when the church flourished is when they basically were operating and serving the people in the midst of war, right? Like Smith Wigglesworth, all these different characters in England and stuff. If you look at church history. But for some reason, the American church hasn't really pivoted and understood that the American model of growth and franchising theology is ultimately the problem. And so, like, there's just church leadership that's just operating in this middle ground, and they're subservient to the squeaky wheel theology, to where they're actually making conditions here in America in the midst of, let's go ahead and say it, but civil war or the culture war. That's like a safer term,
Cultural
right?
civil war. Yeah.
So it's just frustrating, and it's just really disappointing that, like, it just like churches that have the model of growth,
Yeah.
prosperity gospel.
Yeah.
Not saying that your church is operating within that prosperity gospel ideology, but I mean, at the end of the day, there is franchise locations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, no, but it does seem like they essentially fear politics.
right.
And I don't know, that's, sorry, it's all the spiders they put in my mouth last night.
And they put brown recluse in it?
No, they just know that I am a brown recluse
Oh, no.
as 25% Jewish.
I'm a Pacific. I only got 8 spiders in my mouth. How many you got yours? If you want one more spider, why don't you give me $100,000?
It's like the Mr. Towel and Rick and Morty. It's like,
I thought that was South Park that did Mr. Town.
Well, get
Or he was
high.
Towley. Yeah, it had Towley in it.
Tell me as a gangster.
Well, I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
Well, first,
it's a little serious. I'm sorry.
No, it is.
It's not
It
as
is.
funny as spiders in your mouth. But
But that's I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So essentially, when I'm at my church, I do the Donald Trump impression. I've been doing it for 15 years. I did it like way before he was ever in politics or anything like that. and it's just one of those like quirks about me, but it's like my number one impression. It's just until this now, but like normally, like I don't know, it's fun for me, and I feel like it's pretty like innocuous. Like I don't really talk politics when I use it, but essentially one of my friends complained and is trying to use this like self-righteous, like I'm just looking out for the little guy here thing. But she has since accused me of being a gaslighter and manipulator. All just because I've said like I'm not like you can't really force me to do this. Anyway, so she essentially got the pastors involved who essentially shared that I'm not supposed to do it when I'm on the welcome team or something. Even though we know people that have said that like they enjoy my impression and like they've actually kind of liked going to our church because you know they feel like they can kind of fit in or whatever. But anyway, I've been told, that I essentially need to stop doing this when I'm serving, but they can't tell me not to do it anywhere there. And anyway, it's this whole thing.
Let me see your hand, sir. Hold on. No. Bad boy.
I know.
Bad boy.
Right.
Let me color in a couple of things, important things that you missed.
Yeah.
So this character that complained, she is the one that's doing the gaslighting and manipulating.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, I know this is not a new thing, but Democrats accuse basically other people of what they are actually doing so that they can skirt responsibility.
Well, everybody does that. When I'm chasing down a person and I'm about to finish the kill, I always say to them, "Stop! Don't hurt me." I'm running up with a hatchet.
So that's what he does for work. Now we know.
Stop it! Quit chasing me!
Now,
Hurt me!
if you want me to stop chasing you, how about?
If you want me to stop hurting you, there's a form. Just fill it out on your smartphone. You can scan the QR code on my axe.
And then I'm going to give you a Venmo, okay? You send me.
What's interesting what you're saying about churches and how they're bending the knee to the corporatocracy, because I kind of had the revelation. I've been going to church more lately. Every now and then I get more into it and then I get out of it. And I said it's impressive to me that so Hollywood is crumbling, the games industry is crumbling, sports are crumbling. Like they're literally all facing significant financial challenges. And it all just comes down to how they run their money and their influence. It's all just down to them because they want to be bigger every year.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, the church is actually doing really well. They're putting out movies, they're putting out music, they do tours, they have performers come in, they get money for free, they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
And if they want to give some homeless people something, then they can. So they have this unique ability in an economy where they can move money.
Yeah.
They can literally launder money if they choose to.
Yeah.
And they do it all the time. There's they ran the numbers. They're like, does every church launder money? They're like,
pretty much.
Pretty much. They all are laundering
There
money.
is a form to classify yourself as a nonprofit or something like that.
Right.
You can't talk about politics. So this might be a whole
that's interesting.
angle of why the church can't really address
That's interesting.
what's an actual ongoing issue within the United States.
They passed that shit, separation of church and state. It's in all the history books. It's a big deal.
Right.
But basically, church, if I'm a pastor and I get my license or whatever, and it says, you're a pastor, you're a minister, then I can speak before an audience and I can collect donations, but I cannot deliberately try to influence their
correct.
vote. So that is a law.
Right. As a pastor though, as me, just being a guy, even if I'm serving on the welcome team, right? It just seems.
Well, an impersonation would not count in any serious
Yeah, and
as influence, because it's just a joke,
right?
It's a parody.
Exactly, and I'm also not talking anything political. But they've essentially.
I've never heard you have a political slant when you were doing a Donald Trump impersonation.
I have done that impression for 2 years around another friend of mine, and a few months ago, she went, "I have no idea how you vote."
Right.
And she's heard this for 2 years. She goes, "I have no idea how you vote."
It's important to note that this person that complained shivers at the sound of Donald Trump.
Yes.
And it just makes her emotionally
And then
crippled.
she tried to tell me that, you should do it at a comedy club. I'd love to hear it there. But she told me that the impression gives her fear and anxiety.
Right.
So you would go to a comedy club to intentionally feel fear and anxiety?
Right.
None of this makes sense. This is just someone who wants control, and I've tried to emphasize that over and over again. And she's like, "No, I don't." But there's no other thing that she's going for here. You know, so it doesn't make sense. I got thinking about this last night in bed, and I was all excited about this. I want to hear actually what you guys think about this. So, where do our rights come from?
Well, if you listen to a lot of people online now, who may or may not be Russian bots, we have no rights.
Okay.
Because I've encountered this argument like a lot in the last couple of years.
Well, let's assume we do have rights in this country. Where do they come from?
God.
Yes, exactly. They're God-given rights. And the Bill of Rights and everything like that essentially says the government didn't give us these. We just have them, and the government protects them. Now, if I am at church, whose house am I in?
God's house.
Right.
Hey, I like it.
So why would I not be able to use my freedom of speech in God's house if they are his rights?
Sure. But the church, the congregation is the church. So for the American church to adopt the corporate HR sort of business model or whatever is null and void in my mind, because that's my right to believe that. So I personally think that the leadership and the model of the American church has no authority. It's the congregation. Now, if the congregation is dealing with internal conflicts because of politics, Donald Trump versus Bidenism, free speech, all these different topics and stuff like that, then it's important to actually talk about that and to minister to people. In my personal opinion, you doing a Donald Trump impersonation is a ministry to people that were sort of hurt and abused during the COVID era when they were accused Nazis. We don't even have to go over it.
And that could certainly be a way. That could certainly be a way for people to interpret it. You know.
Well, there is a very fair chance that this woman, I've never met her. I don't know. I don't know her name. But she sounds like there's at least a 50-50 chance that during COVID, she was one of the people who was hassling people.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you got to wear the mask.
Oh no, she has told me that she was.
Okay, so I mean, there you go. I mean, that's it's not really a good person right there.
But the thing is, she has now gotten into lying about certain things and trying to make me look a certain way to assassinate my character. That makes me go like, for a while, I actually kind of thought that there was mostly good intentions here, but the fact that someone has resorted to these things, that feels like an indication to me that it is not something godly at the core of this, because if it was a godly mission this person was on, I don't think they would be doing ungodly things.
Well, it's possible that they're just worried that you're going to cost them money.
Yeah, maybe, but, certainly no one has said that, and this chick is also not she's not a staff member.
They're not going to say it.
Yeah, of course.
And, I mean, that's another thing about a church.
But that's the thing.
A company would have to appoint her a position.
Right.
Unless it was like a family business. But a church, since they're not really a business and they're not really a money laundering
But the thing is, they're starting to seem like a business. This is kind of my angle, was when I started going to church a few years ago, I was in a tough spot. I had kind of come to Jesus even outside of church, and I wanted to kind of have a place to go for that.
Which is important. It's good.
That
church exists for level 1 Christianity.
Right. But, I literally, I sort of realized that my life had been kind of ruled by, money and women. And so then when I go to, and I was like, oh, well, this is a place that's ruled by God, who is technically neither of those things. So I was like, this will be great. This is what I'm looking for. And then to, be in a situation where I'm told that, they essentially seem to be concerned that they're going to limit people coming in, which is going to limit tithing, and then they're going to lose their jobs. That's how it seems to me. And then to hear them, they literally told me this in this meeting, was that I care about values, and that's what I'm arguing for, and this person cares about feelings, and that's what they're arguing for, and then they essentially made concessions on my values to this person's feelings, which is, in my humble opinion, an extremely ungodly thing to do. My feelings tell me to do all sorts of sins.
Let's talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
And what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, his sacrifice for the salvation of humanity was complicated and tough.
Yeah.
It wasn't a hippie Jesus that was nice and considerate.
Yes.
He ruffled feathers, and there was a large swath of humans
Yeah.
that justified the crucifixion
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And so the same spirit that existed when they killed Jesus
Yeah.
exists today.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Right.
We have cell phones
Yeah.
now. That's the
And
only
and
difference.
it would be
You can make the argument that cell phones are amplifying
Yeah.
that spirit
Yeah.
of manipulation
Sure.
and propaganda.
And yes, it would be easier and it would be more peaceful and all that stuff if I just threw up my hands and said, okay, fine, you win. Sure, that all of those things would be true. However, it wouldn't be truthful. You know, it wouldn't be, it just wouldn't be right. And that's what I keep coming back to, you know. And no one's able to tell me what I'm doing is wrong. They're just saying I don't like it and so you have to stop. And I'm just
Well,
like,
remember what you said. I mean, you said it yourself. It's becoming corporatized,
Yeah.
corporatocracy, and
Yeah.
probably the most dangerous element. Like, you take the government passing Title VII,
yeah,
and people are like, "What are you doing? This is insane. This is, we're supposed to be anti-racist. We're supposed to be like removing barriers, and here you specifically create a new set of laws,
right,
which is basically governing like these
Yeah.
other people, and it's like mandating hiring."
yeah,
And, they're like, well, it comes down to how people use it. That's what they always say. Because a law doesn't really mean anything. It comes down to enforcement. The real danger of their platform is that people eat it up. People, they say, hey, this is how we make money. They say, we got rid of Aunt Jemima on the syrup bottle because maybe it would make certain black people not buy it, or maybe certain white people think, whatever the reason.
yeah,
So, and especially in a city like Austin, one of the biggest demographics you can tap into is the Latin American demographic. They basically run this city. And they believe, because this is what they say on CNN, they believe that Latinos hate Trump.
yeah.
This is essentially right. This is the echo chamber that they create. I mean, I know a lot
Despite every Mexican I know, are
they,
voting
they
for Trump.
generally, they at least think Trump is funny.
Yeah,
I've never met
sure.
a Latin person who didn't at least think he was funny, because
Yeah.
they generally have a better sense of humor.
Yeah,
Right.
They have fewer possessions tying them down to this, this
Also,
scummy planet.
They
Oh,
respect alphas too.
Right. They respect you having your own identity, for
Yeah.
sure. So,
Yeah.
Right.
but she, is buying this nonsense, which came from the government, which probably was lobbied for by companies, which is like, hey, you want money? Here's people who have the money.
Yeah.
You can't do anything that would piss them off.
Yeah.
And this is always where corporations choke, and they ruin movies, they ruin music, they ruin books, because they get a good idea and they say, this is a good idea, but we just need to bring in more of this audience.
Yeah.
And they think that the audience won't see that this is ungenuine.
Yeah.
So she's, like you said, it's a corporatocracy,
Yeah.
and she's bought it, and she thinks in her mind like this is in the way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's probably not correct.
And she is literally it's also Machiavellian of her. She's essentially saying the ends justify the means. So I will lie, I will slander, I will insult, I will gaslight, I will manipulate, I will do all these things because the thing that I'm doing is the good thing. And that's when you need to realize that you're not working for the good anymore when you've decided that you're going to do those things.
Right. Did Jesus say that the heart is the most deceiving scripture?
Something
right?
like that is in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
I'm trying to
hearts are the
remember-
problem.
Yeah. So, in full circle, that's ultimately what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like, did Jesus serve values or did Jesus serve feelings?
Right, exactly.
It's very clear in
Right,
Scripture
right,
that the heart is
right.
the most deceiving. I didn't
Right.
understand that Scripture for
Yeah.
a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is ultimately what we're
Yeah.
facing.
Yeah, this person, I mean, right. And then they were all about me saying, like, when I threw in there because it was relevant, but at the point of the conversation, I was like, hey, like, I'm not doing this to, like, upset you. Like, I'm not trying, that's not a goal of mine. That's like, just by the wayside. And they were like, oh, let's focus on that. Like, hey, this person, like, he's not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm like, right, but the problem is I told her that on the first phone call that we had. Like, this isn't news, And they were all, like, focused on that. I'm just like, why? Like, I felt like I was in a place where they were like, oh, bad man just caring about values. It's like, did Jesus want us to have values or feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, which of these leads us to God? Feelings are not going to lead you to God.
Right.
Well, now is probably a good time to start your own church. I mean, they have all these office buildings.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in them.
Yeah, this could be our church right here.
Well, you could. You have a
If you
church in
want to
your
help
apartment.
us start a church, okay? And you don't want spiders in your mouth.
But yeah, you could definitely. You could just do your own operation. But yeah,
I've thought about it. I've thought about it.
It'd be a lot of work.
The church of F you.
Just got to get ahead of all the, I don't know, messed up stuff that
Yeah.
we've done in the past and just put it all over the internet. All the terrible things that we've done.
All the bad things.
Well, I mean, now
Yeah.
you can just argue it's AI, right? If a video comes out, you be like, yeah, that's AI.
Yeah.
My intelligence
I've
is
never
artificial.
slept with any girl.
No, that's
yeah.
not-
We know. Oh, that's news.
I'm
Yeah.
celibate. I'm gay.
Celibate. I'll sell a lot.
Mm.
Woo! Did it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm sorry to hear that that happened. I mean, clearly
Thanks,
it's
bud.
weighing on your mind. I mean,
It
I feel
is,
like
it
it's
is.
been an eternity since.
I know. Yeah. It's been 6 months. Okay, now here.
Just today, it's been 40 minutes.
I
since
know.
it came out.
I know. There's just something here that that's not digesting with me. You know.
I can see
Yeah.
that it's clearly not sitting
Yeah.
right with you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to take an action. I think.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
I'm
think you
taking
can just let
some.
it go.
No, I'm taking some for sure, and I'm trying to figure out what more I want to take. But yeah, no, I'm literally right in the middle of that because this meeting happened 2 days ago.
Have you
and I'm-
considered writing an open letter to the church
Yes.
body?
Yes.
I mean, that
Yeah.
to me makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think I'd probably make it to the leaders.
Just
you
drag
know,
more.
'cause I don't really care what
more opinions in on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously she's the loudest, but maybe
Yeah.
other people could get loud if they were
Yeah.
informed.
Well, the thing is, I'm having people like support me loudly, like to me, and then I know that there's people that support her as well. But I don't know. It just feels like if I'm not appreciated, that's what it comes down to right now. It's like I just kind of feel not appreciated, and it's
I
like,
appreciate you, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But you also don't go there.
Yeah.
Well, in this society, it's a lot easier to let a man feel unappreciated than a woman.
Oh, for sure.
Women will really they'll drag you into
Yeah.
appreciating them.
Yeah, yeah.
For a man, it's just like, well, you're a man.
Yeah, correct.
You
Correct.
know, if,
no, I
if
agree.
it's not working for you here, just go somewhere else. 'Cause
Correct.
You've
Yeah.
got a fucking cock and
The-
balls, and
yeah.
you can do whatever you want. And
Yeah.
You're a comedian.
Yeah.
She's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like,
Oh, yeah. I know. That dude. I know because they do seem to be coddling her, and she's literally crying about apparently how I named some like team group name at a party of one of our groups. And I'm like, I don't even remember this, but it was something Trump related, I guess. And she's acting like I killed her fucking dog. And so it is kind of just becoming like, yeah, if I have to choose like who I want to be around, like I don't think y'all are it. You
well,
know?
it's kind of funny because if you did a Netanyahu impression,
Yeah.
she wouldn't say a goddamn thing.
Well, I asked them, I was like, this is what's really bugging me right now is I asked the pastors, like, what would we do if someone with a MAGA hat walked in here? And their reaction was, oh, it happened, and fortunately they took it off and we didn't have to do anything, which made it sound like they would do something. And I'm thinking to myself, the correct answer is we wouldn't do anything. It would be the same as if they walked in with a green hat on.
Okay, I'm walking into church with a MAGA hat now.
Good luck, have fun, bro.
Yeah.
Because who knows what they're going to do, but someone will probably do something if
Yeah.
you keep doing it,
I mean, that is the ultimate test to see if this church is lukewarm. Because that's the question. So, like, back in the 1960s with the Jesus people movement, that was important. That those hippies that were coming out of psychedelic drugs and sex and rock and roll and stuff, they had a place to actually hear the gospel,
Right.
So that was important. That's
Yeah.
very level 1 Christianity.
Yeah.
So this is the question that we have to ask.
Yeah.
Is that church
Yeah.
operating in that way where they're
Right.
ministering to people that actually need to hear the gospel?
Yeah.
In my professional opinion, I think people that were abused
Yeah.
by Democrats and like crazy women need to heal, and I think your comedy is a ministry to those people.
Yeah.
People want to be heard, people want to be understood, and if the church doesn't honor that, then they're not offering that ministry and that compartment of tough, valuable love that Jesus preached.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a conundrum.
yeah.
I will be doing Joe Pesci in there from now on, though, regardless of what anyone
I
tells
think
me.
that Joe Pesci is funnier anyway. I mean, Joe Pesci's pretty funny. And he's Jewish. No one can get upset about that.
Do you hate spiders? Do you want them in your mouth?
Now, that is
If not-
definitely... putting anything in the mouth joke is going to trigger them.
He said he was gonna put 8 spiders in my mouth. No, I did not.
Open wide.
I told you.
This is why Christian comedy sucks. Because... So I like music, I like comedy, I like movies.
Yeah.
I like books.
Yeah.
I consume a lot of different medium. Video games.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like media. And every millennial does.
Yeah.
Christians are present in the media sphere, and they're making games, they're making music, they're making movies, they're making books. All of these are pretty good.
Yeah.
The Christian comedy is really where it falls apart. It's very hard to be a funny Christian comedian.
I will say this. I went to a church. It was a comedy event that was put on by a church. And the comics even said that they are not Christian comics. They're just clean comics.
Sure.
And that was great. Those guys were funny. But yeah, when you get into the Christian comic thing, I have seen it work. Like one guy when I was in like 8th grade, right? I remember being like, that guy's funny, right? But other than that, yeah, usually it's pretty tough.
The material is just so narrow. It's
exactly.
What are you allowed to
That's
joke
the problem.
about? Like, once my heart was troubled, but now it's set free.
Right.
Like, where's the punchline?
Right.
That's just, It's just.
And now I got 8 spiders in my mouth.
Yeah. So.
He said he was going to put 8 spiders in my mouth?
No, I told you the government was going to do it unless you gave me $100,000.
And then occasionally, though, you have comedians that touch on the Jesus situation, and I think it's actually pretty hysterical because there's a lot
The
of
Jesus situation?
The Jesus situation.
That whole situation.
That whole
You
situation.
hear about this thing that happened to this Jesus guy?
You've got this 30-year-old hippie. He's traveling around with 12 apostles. He's washing feet. He's making water into wine. He literally stole grain. That's one of my favorite stories. Like, they're on the Sabbath day, and they're walking through some dude's field, with permission, I assume. And his disciples just start taking the grain right off the stalk and eating it. And the dude's like, yo, isn't it Sabbath? You can't pick food on the Sabbath.
Hey, y'all can't do that.
He basically was like, shut the fuck up. Like, he was just like, don't the birds of the field feed themselves when they're hungry? He's like violating like their sancted day. Like, you can't pick food. You can't prepare food on the Sabbath.
But he did.
You have to make it the night before. These dudes are literally just stealing grain.
Yeah.
And then the dude's not even accusing him of stealing. He's just like, hey, isn't it like the Sabbath? And he's like, shut up.
As if Jews were allowed to steal on any other day of the week.
Right.
Yeah. That's the day you can do it.
So there's, I feel
But
like
say
it's a
what
comedy gold mine. Like, there's a lot of shit that you could laugh about.
He did pay unto Caesar what was Caesar's, though. And therefore, no spiders in
Comment below if this voice is too much. If we should drop this voice now.
Comment below if after the 7th time it was overdone. Or was it the 15th time? I don't know.
Comment below how many spiders you want in your mouth. And if it's not 8, you're going to have to deal with it.
Maybe you could sign an accord with her doing the Trump voice only like once every hour.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a moderation thing.
That's not going to work.
Maybe you just need an
I'm
editor
still
clipping
doing
her
Trump
on
ants
there.
too, which is funny. What if this became my real voice?
And Matt became the impression.
What if you forgot how to stop talking to her?
I'm bringing a friend. His name is Dale. He's in a tough spot.
The dude's having a meltdown.
Nobody knows what trouble I've seen. Nobody knows about the spider.
How about you, Nick or Max? Any bad things happen the past 2 weeks?
My life is an escalator going up. I mean, it's been real good, honestly. I did consider bringing up the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know if you guys do gaming technology.
Well,
Yeah, he does.
they're
coming
about
out
to
with
jack
a
up the
sequel to the
price.
Switch. They are. They went $450.
Because them tariff. Well, but the shotgun going higher because of the tariffs.
Well, I haven't heard anything about tariffs on Japan, so
They are.
They're putting tariffs on Japan.
Yeah, they call them Japariffs.
Oh, jeez. I feel like one call from Mario and the tariffs are going to be dropped.
Yeah.
Like,
Everybody's
Donald Trump-
caving.
Donald
Yeah,
Trump
yeah.
will be in the office. He'll get a call. It'll be J.D. Vance who picks it up. It's like, it's a me. It's not you.
Yeah.
Put on your superior. He's like, hang on.
That's Nick's impression.
Donnie! I wait 1 second. Like, Donnie!
It's a you.
But yeah, they want $450 for the base console.
Yeah.
But guess how much you think they want for a physical game?
For a physical game?
For a physical game, a cartridge.
Oh, I mean, it shouldn't be more than 60, but it'll be 70.
They want $90
No.
for a physical game.
But what if you buy it digitally? Is it the same?
$80.
80. They're just pushing you to go digital.
But check this.
Yeah.
Several of the cartridges they've already announced it's not going to contain the game. It's just going to contain a download link. So you pay an extra $10 you get a card, and then you still get a virtual game. And like they want you, they have a demo for the console. It's called like the Switch 2 review, and it like walks you through the technology of the console. You're like walking on a giant Switch. And you think, oh, that's kind of a fun thing to include with it, right?
Sure.
Wrong. They want you to pay for this game, and then they want you to pay
Zaps you every
for the
15
Nintendo
minutes.
Switch, the service to play the retro games. Then they want you to pay for Nintendo Switch camera. Then they want you to pay for a more comfortable controller. So you're talking like $1,000 by the time you've got this thing and you're ready.
Just to play tic-tac-fucking-toe.
Just to play fucking Pikmin. So
Well, Pikmin I would do it for, but
Oh, yeah,
tic-tac-fucking-toe.
so it plays Nintendo Switch games, but they want to charge you a fee to like import it to the Nintendo Switch 2 or to make it run better. So yeah, we got to call Net and Young.
Yeah.
basically.
It sounds
The
like
head
you're
of
really going
Nintendo.
through it, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should take some action here. You've been talking about it for a whole 3 minutes now.
I know. I should send him an open letter.
Dear Nintendo.
I feel that corporatocracy has snuck into Nintendo.
Why are you trying to corporatize my Mario? Corporatize.
You think Mario is about money? It's not. It's about plumbing.
I'm going to call Tim Apple about this.
It's about values, not feelings.
It's about having a big nose and plumbing. And you fight a fucking turtle.
Yeah.
It's about spiders.
You really got spiders on the brain.
Well, did you guys not hear that fact? Like, I don't know. It was like a few years ago. There was like, seriously, it said something like, 1,500 spiders crawl into your mouth in your sleep every year or something like
That's
that.
old,
And it was
right?
just like, yeah. So that's
back
what.
to like 89 was the first time.
Okay, yeah.
How are you counting 1,500?
Well,
Whose mouth are you
the government's doing it. That's how they're like. I know. I put 8 in there last night. You didn't give me $100,000. What was I gonna do?
Well, some of those spiders, you look at them, they don't even look like a real. They look like a robot. It's like, what the fuck is this?
We're gonna make spiders great again.
Well, that's like, there's certain people who are convinced that the birds are like robots.
Yeah.
Have you heard this?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I know that one.
And the water at Planet Fitness has nanobots in it.
Only at Planet Fitness?
I'll
And
show you a
Hawaii-
photo. I took a
Why
photo.
not at
Hawaii is real.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Loses.
Man, I was driving under a bridge the other day, as you do, and there were homeless people camped under there, as they do. And
As they are.
I'm kind of like stuck in traffic here. I'm looking around all these hobos, The Walking Dead. They're shuffling up, trying to get some money or something. And I look up, and there's just a shit ton of birds chilling under the bridge, and they're like just crawling all over each other. And
You
just
look up-
acting bizarre, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Then you started listening to them, and they were just going, "'Cause I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day under the place I love."
You can't tell me that's real. Paul. Then I asked the homeless man, I'm like, bro, what's up with these
good.
birds?
Yeah, you like that, right?
Yeah, it was good.
You love a good red hot chili pepper joke.
So, what did the homeless guy say?
He said, hey man, that's a bird up there.
Yeah.
Under the
That's
bridge
it?
downtown.
I didn't actually, I
robot?
would never ask a homeless man a question.
Oh,
That part was a joke. Yeah, I would never. They come up to me, they're like, hey friend, how you doing? And I was like, the window going up.
Yeah.
They come up to the window, and I'm like, seriously, get away from the window.
I'm gonna start propositioning them. I got an idea, actually.
What?
How about you?
It's funny because if you want to get rid of them, like you see them coming up to your car, you roll it down. You're like, "Hey, you want a job? I got some work for you." And all of a sudden, basically,
They roll your window up for you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to bother you.
So,
It's only going to be a few hours.
Hold on.
I'll drive you there. I'll get you lunch.
when we went to go hang out with Nate,
It's under the table.
It's under the bridge downtown.
when Matt came with me to go hang out with Nate, my old coworker at the other one's foundation, immediately Matt was like, "Fuck the homeless."
I didn't say that.
But not exactly. But
I forget what I said. It probably was something.
It was
I feel like Nate is used to being disappointed like that because he was bringing up the homeless. It's like, people just they just want to move them on somewhere else. It's disgusting. I was like, yeah, some homeless camped right outside our HOA, man. We had to get rid of them. They were just making too much trash.
They're no longer with us. Just making trash.
They do, and it's never healthy food. It's always like the worst garbage you can imagine, like a fucking 7-Eleven bunt cake, like a 2-liter of cherry red, and like 17 packs of Swisher Sweets, and like.
Never look inside the coolers, by the way. Too.
What's in the coolers?
The homeless coolers?
What's in them?
Human shit.
Yeah, makes sense. Take a shit in a cooler and close it off.
You ain't lived unless you shit in a cooler.
Yeah, but it's really wonderful. I love living in a vibrant neighborhood like that. I walk down the street and there's like a homeless person lurking. They always lurk in the same spot. We had to chop down all the trees so they couldn't hide behind the bushes. Because like they'll just hide behind the bush like a dog or something. And I'm like walking by and all the bushes are gone and there's a homeless man. It's like obviously like the intel said there would be bushes. Because they have a network of intel. They basically like map out parts of the city where you can camp. And he's just obviously baffled. And I'm like, oh, how you doing today? Because he's like directly in my way as I'm walking the dog. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'm doing good, but if I don't find a bathroom soon, there's going to be a problem.
If I don't find a bathroom, I do find a cooler.
And I'm like, why in the name of God should I have to deal with this? You know what I mean? I was like, 7-Eleven is that way. You know, this is a residential neighborhood. You know, you don't find a toilet, you know, in a field beside an apartment complex. That's not where toilets hang out, sir, you know. So he just wanted to rip ass behind a bush and then just kick some dirt on it like a dog.
You gonna piss in the corner today? Your fence is gone. You gonna piss in my fucking corner.
I don't know where I'm gonna pee.
He hasn't used the toilet.
Where do I put my dick?
If you pay attention to your thoughts enough, you'll realize that you have that exact question every like 37 seconds. Where do I put my dick?
It's like every other function is secondary.
Right.
The main function is always one of the
where's that dick go?
This is why women are smarter than men.
Because they're not questioning. They're like, where do I put his dick?
They only have to think about it 50% as much because they're like, he's on top of it. He'll put it somewhere when the opportunity arises. I'm going to focus on it. I'll find us food and water.
He's on top of it. He's on top of it. He's under it. He's next to it. He's connected to it.
He's got the energy.
I'm going to leave the dick questions to him.
Be like, babe, I'm too tired to go hunting. I'm so tired. You want to have sex?
Where do I put my dick?
Go get a goddamn elk, you bum. You lay about. You think?
Joe Rogan. Okay, all right, yeah.